Hi, it's and welcome back to my channel for another bullet journal video. And today I will be sharing with you guys my weekly spreads for the month of July. So my theme for this month is killer whales, or also like the ocean a little bit. And it really was the month that I got my creative side back, and I'm really excited to be able to share those spreads with you guys. And if you are interested in any of the supply that I will be using, it will be linked in the description box down below, as well as a affiliate link to get 10% off your own Digmat notebook, which are the notebooks that I am using. So without further ado, let's jump straight into those weekly spreads. So this first one is a really simple layout because I really wanted to start super strong with a lot of doodles and still a lot of space for the weekly spread to be functional, but mostly just to have a lot of space to draw. So I just have 3 days on one side that are about 18 squares from the outside of the page, and I have this huge space in the middle that will be used for doodles, and on the other side I have 4 days, so I just have one more at the top, which on the left side is filled with the week and the mini calendar. It's also my last month really using the week system that I have been using because it is technically the end of the school year after that. Even if I technically was no longer in school since February, I still continued with it. And then moving on for August, I will just use the reference from which date to which date the week goes. So for this, I just did a line of color with my Tombow dual brush markers, and then you can see that I am outlining them and then adding the days and the date. And then I am moving to the doodle part, which I'm so excited about. I actually never thought I would be able to draw things like that. I never even tried before. I used to be obsessed with drawing dolphins as a kid, but again, later in life, or any other type of mammals, of like any other type of sea creature ever again. So I was originally going for a whales theme, but they were so hard to draw and like so much more details, and it was just so intimidating. And then I just came across on Pinterest a picture of a killer whale, and I was like, that's my theme, and it just sprinkled something. I don't know, it woke something in me and my creativity, but I also procrastinated making those for so long because I was so scared that it wouldn't turn out good. I was so scared of not actually being able to do it, so I pushed off as long as I could, which is not a really good reaction, but also now it is done and I'm so happy that it is. So we are moving on to the second weekly spread. Also, I'm so sorry for the sun. I had a really hard time recording because I have to wait until a certain time in the morning to have enough lighting, but also really quickly I have the sun in my window and it's really annoying. But anyways, coming back to the actual weekly spread, I did first the event section on the left side, and then I draw 3 boxes per page on the inner side, which are pretty much as big as the last one, but on the other side of the page. And then I did the lettering for each day in cursive, and going like inside of the border for each box, which I think looks really cool, and I'm really happy about that. And I just basically outlined a little like blue line. I did the dates, and I had to do one bigger boxes, like the whole page wide for the weekend, but separated into two, just because I wouldn't have a space for it and if I didn't do that. And then you can see that I'm doing the tiny little calendar at the top. I don't know why I have an obsession with making those tiny calendars. I don't know, it's something that I always did, and I don't think I'm gonna stop. And then I added a little whale on this side. I could have added a note section, but honestly I wanted the space to add a really big doodle, and I think it looks pretty cool. Also, while we have a little bit of a close-up of what it actually looks like, I wanted to give a little tip for anyone using Tombow brush markers for coloring in black. So basically when you do, you can see that it is not really regular, and that there is parts that are lighter than others, which is something that happens with the black in the Tombow markers. So to not have that problem, I would just say go back once it's fully dry and do a second coat of the black, and it will be super dark and super perfect. Just be careful to not go over the border, which I almost did multiple times because it is really like hard to do. Also, I added some little close-ups of the orcas just because I think they look really good. And with this weekly spread, I encountered a few problems. My camera was out of focus for every time I was drawing these, so I took the video from my phone that I have for TikTok and Instagram videos, and I just decided to include this instead so you can still see a little bit of it, because I am so annoyed that it is out of focus. And each time I did the orcas, it was out of focus. I don't know why or what happened. But it was, so I just did that, and there was like a second time that it happened, and then I'm moving on with the rest of the spread, which I decided to do just like the one before, where it's separated into 3 sections instead, but it is also separated down the middle of the page, so I would have 6 per page if I did like this the entire page, if it makes sense. But on the left side I only have the 4 lower ones, and then on the right side I have the full column but only 1 column, so I have a 1 space for each day. And on the right I also will add an event section. That's really something that I like for a weekly spread, is to have a separate event section, just because it is a lot easier and it frees up a lot of space to be able to have more to-dos or anything like that in the actual daily sections. Oh my gosh, my brain is not working today. Also, sorry for my voice if it's a little weird. I still have a cold right now. I've been having one for a little while, and it's really hard to get rid of, so my voice is not in the best shape possible, but hopefully you cannot tell. So right now I am adding the event section title, and then if I'm correct, I will continue to finish the event section before moving on to the whales part, where I was just drawing them and filling them in and coloring them, which was really relaxing because it is such big surfaces to color in with such big doodles. It was so relaxing, especially because I didn't have multiple colors, so I didn't have to switch between colors or see if I had the right color or anything like that. So it kind of took off a lot of the stress, and it's really simple shapes, surprisingly. I think you can pretty tell that most of it is just black, and then I have some parts that are white depending on the positioning of the orcas, but honestly it was just so much easier than most things I've done because it's such simple. If you don't do any details or stuff like that, it's easily one of the best thing to do, I would say. And it's even, I would say, beginner friendly, even if it's not the easiest. But if you have ever drawn in your life, I feel like you could do it. And then we are on to the next weekly spread, which is pretty simple, and I took back one of my favorite weekly spread that I did a lot last year. I had it actually for June, if I'm correct, or July, I think, and possibly September, I'm not sure, which is kind of the same thing I did for the last one with the separations, but it's placed differently, and it has a full box with a little tag for each day, and I really just love how it turns out. This one is really simple, yet it still have a lot of colors, and it is so functional. I always love using this one, and when I was still in school, I would use the portion on the right side that is now blank but will be filled with doodles, and add an additional note or slash school section for anything that was school related, and it made it the perfect spread to keep everything at the same place, so I always really liked it for that. So moving on to this last weekly spread, and also one of my favorites. If you haven't seen my July setup, you won't know what I'm talking about, but I did a similar layout to how I did my habits tracker for this month, which is by having really big bubbles, and I just have at the top written the name of the days that it is, but I really like the idea of having the bubbles. I was honestly really stuck trying to find this last idea for this page, and I just searched for so long on Pinterest, and I found those circles but for a coffee theme, and my brain was like, oh, that's a good idea, and that's why this is my last weekly spread, and it's actually the one that has the most theme-ish look, I guess. And what I did is cursive lettering for each day to put the first 3 letters, and then I went in with a really with the dark blue and added the date for each day, but I don't think it looks that good. I don't know, I think it doesn't work as well as I expected it, and I thought you would be able to see the date a lot better, but it doesn't, and that's perfectly fine. And now we will have a series of close-ups for the orcas that I did on this page. So I'm really excited for actually using the spreads. I usually have a hard time actually using weekly spreads, so I think this one will definitely be on my priority list for actually using them, because it is so pretty and it is so motivating for me. And also as a little reminder that you do not need to actually use the spreads if they're just here to decorate, or if you just like the process of making them, that's okay too. It is not meant to be used, it is made to be made if you like them. Or you can just do more simple and not think about everything that I think about for those. It is entirely up to you. But we are getting close to the end of this video, so I hope you enjoyed it. You will still have a little flip through at the end, but I hope you enjoyed. Tag me in any recreation, sorry. If you remake any of my spreads, be sure to follow me if you want to see more content just like this one, and to ring the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload a new video. Also, leave a like, maybe a bubble emoji if it exists. I want to see how many of you actually came to the end of this video. I really am curious to see. And I will see you guys in my next uploads. Bye!
Give me love, give me all your love, oh, 'cause I want you. No one else makes me feel this way.